You won't believe what Sheila Nash has come up with in terms of pairings. They're going to blow your mind. First, a recap, 3 ridiculously delicious dishes. Sarah Cahill, Dairy Farmers of Manitoba, will show them to people and run them down.
Sounds good. Our first dish was the honey garlic sweet pepper stir fry. And this is a stir fry that we use the milk to make our sauce. Added a little bit of nutrition. Our next dish was a Thai green curry.
Amazing.
It was, and we added some cream to that curry to make it nice and silky and smooth and saucy. And then our final dish was the chicken chipotle tacos, where we used some milk again to make our filling. And we also used a really nice queso blanco cheese, which is made right here in Manitoba.
The recipes for this show and the complete series of great tastes are available on the foodManitoba.ca website. And one recipe from today's show will be in the classified section of the Weekend Free Press.
Mind blown in 3, 2, 1. As soon as Sheila Nash tells you about her pairings, these are amazing. She's a product expert, Manitoba Liquor Marts. She hinted she might do this to me in private, and she did, and I'm super pumped. Tell us about these.
Well, I gotta say, these dishes were really kind of exciting. I thought, initially, the first thing that came to my mind was beer. And then I thought, it's a mix-it-up show. That would just be too boring. So what I did was decided to make beer cocktails all the way throughout. Now, I know there's some beer purists out there who would shudder at the thought, but it's actually very trendy across North America right now, and decided to have some fun with it. So to start with, that stir fry, which could have a little bit of spice to it, I went with the Devil's Lemonade. And what this is Jim Beam's Devil's Cut bourbon mixed in with some lemonade and topped off with some Moosehead lager. Devil's Cut is a pretty interesting bourbon. Of course, when you age whiskey in a barrel, there's some evaporation that happens, and it's referred to as Angel's Share. Of course, the Devil's Cut is what's left behind in the wood barrels, and they've extracted that very full-bodied, beautiful bourbon. And of course, that lemonade and topped with the Moosehead lager makes it very clean, very crisp. I think it's going to pair nicely with the stir fry and not be too overpowering.
Good start.
Secondly, of course, was that Thai green curry. Wow, a little bit of spice there, of course, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a variation of a Tom Collins. So this is a beer Tom Collins. It's started in a shaker with some Tanqueray 10 gin. Of course, Tanqueray 10 is extra special than the regular Tanqueray gin because they're using whole botanicals and herbs to begin with. So it's really intense flavored, and of course, out of tank number 10. This, of course, has a little bit of lemon in it as well as some simple syrup, and then topped up with Singha, which is a Thai lager. It seemed appropriate. What you end up with is a nice, clean, crisp, should pair nicely with that heat.
Nicely done.
Then lastly, of course, those tacos. This is a variation of a margarita. It's a beer margarita, starting with Patron Tequila. Lovely tequila, of course. Everyone knows this one straight up, but decided to make it into a margarita version with a little bit of orange liqueur. Use some agave simple syrup or agave syrup instead of. And then, of course, shaken, strained, topped into a glass, rimmed with cayenne pepper and salt, and topped with a Mexican beer.
Wow. The Dos Equis cocktail, Sheila Nash, product expert, Manitoba Liquor Mart. Tremendous work.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us here on Great Taste of Manitoba. Sarah Cahill, Dairy Farmers of Manitoba. Your best work ever, I'm going to say. Join us next week for Street Eats with Manitoba Pork. Take care.
Great Tastes of Manitoba is presented by Manitoba Liquor Marts. Great Tastes is brought to you by foodManitoba.ca. Local farms, local foods. Great Tastes is produced by Hummer Productions.